Hello everyone and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie and I will be your guide for today. Today I'm at Julie Moon's house in Brisbane and I will be moving this afternoon. Okay, so if nobody knows me, I am a conscious channeler. A conscious channeler is someone who has conversation within their mind and can just speak as a conversation just normally, but I do absolutely get messages from other beings because I was a seer for the first 50 years of my life, and I saw other beings coming in and I learnt their frequency, as well as they guided me one day just with my mind to dig up in the sand one specific place, and I dug up a solid gold bracelet, and that definitely gave me, yes, I'm not, this is not something from my logical mind. So I learnt the value of my intuitive mind and my connection to my soul group, my soul tribe, and so forth. I just come back from New York. Absolutely incredible over there. I did 3 presentations over there, met some absolutely wonderful people. They literally carried me through. I literally didn't pay for anything. They were just absolutely incredible people over in New York. Taken to the ritziest places too. So very, 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 very grateful to Yin and Arne and so many others that I met over there. I'm not very good. I keep forgetting names, but it was just blew my mind. Anyway, as you know, I'm really, really, really bad with names, guys. So sorry if I haven't mentioned your name. Any case, I do feel into energies, though. I'm really good at that, tapping into energies. This is why I'm an intuitive counselor. If you want to book me one-on-one, the link is down below. Okay, and I have a school called Amicable, which is on Patreon, and it's got a lot of telepathic games and lessons straight from my Pleiades team. And yeah, there's a new telepathic game that I'm doing at the moment, which is portals into on Earth into other places. It's just all telepathic games, little messages throughout those as well. If you want to join us on Patreon, just a few dollars a month. Hey Rebecca and hey Linda, good to see you in the chat bar. I will be channeling today. What was written it can now be changed. Huge topic here. I hope that my battery lasts. It's on 40%, guys. So sorry that I'm 15 minutes late. Just that I thought it was charging when it wasn't. So, you know, these things happen. And I really feel the energy is better now because there was some banging and clanging out there while I was waiting for my battery to be charged. So, you know, perfect timing as such. Hey, Wade, good to see you. Good to see you, Linda. Yeah, great to see you guys. And thanks for reminding everyone to hit the like button and the bell for notifications. That everything helps, obviously. I always believe that my messages reach the right people. And I know it's going to be expanding soon. I don't know how, but it will be. So will it be? Just like whenever I said years ago, I do feel like I want to meet my soul tribe, and then I ended up meeting so many of them over in New York. I never expected to be flown all the way over there. Thank you so much for the sponsors. Also, I'm doing one of the presentations, the big one that I did, that was at Ground Zero. Huge energy there. Something overcame me. It was really interesting. They showed me this meditation, so I'll take you guys through the meditation and then give you the presentation. It was so powerful that there was, at the end of it, there was a couple that popped, like literally, blah, because the energy was so high and so intense that you literally saw all of that which needed to be healed was right there. It was just incredible. I noticed, and I was told the next morning that everyone in the room, parts of them was representing parts of me that I had not cleared, and I realized all the stuff that I still needed to clear within myself. So, you know, this is an ongoing journey and we're all doing it. as in the ascension process, but there's some huge changes coming up, huge changes coming up. My team's really adamant about that. The switch has been switched on, they said. This is why everything's going to be rewritten. So there was a big fall that happened eons ago. We were actually living in more of an etheric world, and that would be the world of Lemuria and Mu, and then Atlantis. And those worlds and that reality here on Earth, there was a lot more to do with manifestation through energy. And so there's not going to be a lot that's found, and we were all telepathic, so we didn't have to write down things. The written word came with the Anunnaki. It came with that sort of, the Sumerian tablets, I believe, was the first one that they've found so far, that the oldest one that they've found so far. But that was written because the war had literally begun in the human psyche of the needing to empower one's logical side. And so in reflection outside of us, the one that won was the more logical based beings. And so they landed and took over Earth and used humanity for their own reality. Now they say that they created humanity, but I believe that there was already a energy, a vibrational energy of humanity here on Earth. It was just in another frequency, and when it fell so that it had to be created into the physical realm. So there was a lot of DNA manipulation. There's more to this story when it came to the fall of the right hemisphere, or the intuitive hemisphere, and then moving into that masculine era. And so the Anunnaki were there, that ended up doing a lot of manipulation. They actually represented our imbalance that we had to have to be able to find out everything about our logical side, which is looking outside of ourselves into the physical world, the tangible world. And so a lot more was, because it was our mind was severed from the intuitive side. We had to write things down. So that was the first writings that happened on the stones. But before then, all was held within the consciousness of humanity through telepathy and connection to all, because that was more a stable feminine side of ourselves. So now we are gone full circle. We've come as far as we can with that masculine energy, and now we are learning to bring back the feminine. But we don't want to poo-poo the masculine either. We don't want to leave the material world for the energetic world. We want to balance this. We want to ground more energy into the material world. We want to balance it, and the only way to ground more energy or frequency into the material world is to come from our own perspective, change our own perspective of loving all as it is, as one, accepting all, the material world and the energetic world, and recognizing the power between both, or the power of both, actually meets in the middle at source energy within one's consciousness. There's a God self within you. They're showing me the third eye, the cave of Brahma. They're showing me the central galaxy within one's body embodiment, and it comes into creation when you recognize you as the creator. Your perspective changes your reality. They keep saying that. So the written word will be shifted into allowing our connection back into our reality again. And some will be scrolling still because they want to have it in a physical form to hand down, and some will be handing it down through the wisdom of telepathy and connection. It's like a coming into balance with both sides, an allowance of an expansion of reality. And that expansion is going to gift us a whole new story. So the story will be changed. The stories will be changed. There's a lot of new children that are born that have these gifts that are going to show humanity how this all works, because they are closer to that path that was taken away from them. In other words, their reality might have been that they jumped from a Lemuria age, and then their soul jumped straight into this age to help guide. So they have this very close association to all that was happening in the Lemuria age. They will feel completely like a fish out of water, though, because this reality, the parts that is crumbling, is also trying to hold on, and the control mechanism of that trying to hold on to the power is, it's going to feel literally suffocating to them. So they'll come through as those children that have maybe slight disabilities and things like that. Some will be a lot grounded, because there are those that have found groundedness that can help them. So we're all helping each other, see? It's not just they're the ones to look out for. Everyone's helping each other. So showing me my family where my eldest was born as a logical person. She's a scientist over in Sweden. She's so logical. She absolutely loves learning knowledge, loved school. Strange. And then my second child was a grounder. She just was just this peaceful, beautiful soul that they could put ADHD kids next to, and she'd just chill them out. And then my next child was like me, very etheric and in a etheric world a lot. So she grounded my third child. And without the two coming in together, because they were born very close together, where my eldest is about 15 years older, those two ended up helping each other on their path, and they still are to this day. So this is how we do it. We are unifying, we become unifying links together, and we'll find communities that are healthy, have all of the balance within them. So, and then the story will be rewritten, a rewritten story of what's going to make the soul happiest to bring more or ground more love into this world. So what's the fantasy that you have? What's the adventure that you really want to go into? And then letting go of all the fixed stories within the logical mind that's seemingly keeping you limited, out of control. Remembering that when you drop that within your logical mind, you will see your reality shift, and you are literally time jumping into different frequencies that are matching your frequency. So the more that you get worried about somebody else controlling you outside of you, even if it's a government body or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. The more you get fixated and worried about that scenario, the more that you will be in the frequency of that reality becoming your reality. You don't understand. They're saying you don't understand how much how malleable, that's the word, malleable everything is, reality is, and it's all come from your perspective of reality as you're moving through it. You are matching, you decide your frequency that you want to jump into, and when you shift, and even telling your logical mind to shush because you're not going down that frequency path anymore, you are opening the gate into creating something new. But remember, this is an unknown vortex for the logical mind. It will feel a little unsafe. It literally does feel unsafe as you move through this journey. But you will rewrite. They're talking about rewriting history too, because you won't see it the same. You won't see it as, oh my God, I was a victim to reality. You'll see it as the lesson that taught you the value of the logical material world, and how to control the logical mind, put it in its place so it's not overtaking you, and then bring in that etheric world through the intuition and the empathy that you are learning to navigate through your emotions. The empathy that you are learning to navigate through your emotions and feelings. They're showing me like putting your hand out and frequencies becoming I don't know where they're going with this, frequencies that are, I'm seeing a hand come out, and then frequencies are showing up, and then literally manifestation before your eyes. Magic will happen, because magic is now understood as the power of the feminine self, the feminine part of yourself, the collaboration or communication with the outside world through energy, and not seeing it as so fixed anymore. So it's that they're showing me now that if that intuitive mind doing the same to the logical mind. You're not as fixed as you think you are. Let me help you. That sort of thing. Let me help you. And then together we can walk together and rewrite our story into a whole new vast reality of creation, where it's not just physical, it is also etherical as well, and both are acknowledged as part of the human consciousness or psyche. That will dispel a lot of this so-called meanness, where things are being controlled outside of you because you wanted to, like science, where they do experiments and stuff like that, won't be necessary anymore, because the energetic value will give the energy alignment of your right hemisphere will give your logical new meaning to things that doesn't need to dissect. So science will shift and come closer to spirituality, and spirituality will allow science to be present as well. This is not a split where one jumps from one to the other. It is a collaboration, because if you just jumped back into the etheric world where they come from with the Lemuria age, then you're missing the point of everything that you've gone through, or humanity's consciousness has gone through in this logical age, and it will bring you back out into an unbalanced state of awareness, where things start to disperse in this world. You become etheric. You're not grounded anymore. Your imagination becomes your world, but time and everything is all over the show. And that's not what we want to do. We want to have a lineal story still. This is an exciting adventure for a soul, to have a lineal story in a very fixed reality, but just bringing in more love into it will also open the doors to everybody becoming the master of their reality and their creation. They're showing me a master who can put his hand out and a piece of paper that's all crumpled up, and they pulsate. They're showing me pulsating and switching that piece of paper into fire, like burning it, shifting the molecules into a faster vibration, picturing fire within their mind, and there's a pulsation of understanding that electricity between one's body and the paper can actually ignite the paper. They're showing me things like that, because they're showing me that to say that the masters, those are the masters that you saw that were like just one-offs in the past, because they were very infrequent, will be way more frequent. And not to say that everyone's going to like starfires or anything, but they're just showing me that and that's how much power a master can have. When you are the master of your own reality, you had the same body as everyone else. In other words, I mean, everyone has discrepancies within that, obviously. I mean, some are better at certain things and not at other things, and all of that. So you have your own flavor of a body, but overall, and the general contents, everybody has a body, and everybody has the two hemispheres of the brain, most people, and so we all have this ability. It's what they're trying to say, a capability to become the master and rewrite our story. So we're rewriting our story, and then we literally magnetize others that are writing a similar story. That's where those soul groups start to pull together, because it feels good. like you start to magnetize these people towards you because it feels good. And then when you meet and it feels that good, you don't want to say goodbye to them. Even if you do live on the other side of the world, you'll still keep in touch. Everything that is showing up in humanity's consciousness at the moment to do with AI, telephones, television, all that sort of stuff is all something that can be produced from within oneself when you connect back to that intuitive feminine power. So the feminine power is wanting to rise up and say, let me show you a new path. Let me show you another way of doing this, of creating this reality. It is completely different to the reality that you have been going down. You've poo-pooed me for too long. I'm standing up and I'm going to show you a new path. And then the magic will start to happen within your reality because you are now standing up for both your intuitive side and your masculine side. Your masculine side is not telling your intuitive side off or telling its airy theory or anything like that. And your feminine side is not attacking your masculine side because it's not been heard. Relationships outside of us will all shift. So this is a huge, mega shift for humanity as we are moving into this next story. But even so, like my team always says, we can kind of see where you guys are going to go. We can imagine because of the way that the scenario is turning out. But and as fear drops, what's starting to rise, the balance that's rising up through that fear is in the expansion. But even so, sorry, they're telling me another story at the same time. Hang on. Too much information. But even so, anyway, we've got to do this with balance. I kind of lost it there a bit, sorry. But it's because they're bringing in another story. But I do want to do a actual, recorded story on this one. Probably not a live, I'll probably record this one, but in my reality, there is a new message that's been decoded by Voyager 2. And I want to go into that, the Voyager 2 message that has been decoded, because my team's brought my attention to that. And I want to talk about that message decoded. It is incredible. It isn't just on one level. It is on many levels, this message that's been decoded. Only decoded because humanity's consciousness has risen up. And this is what happens when we start to rise. We start to find expansion because we're now not seeing things just through the logical mind. We're seeing things through feelings as well. And our feelings hold so much more information. Our feelings they're showing me a crystal that holds information, and you just saw it before as a normal crystal, and people would hold these crystals, right? I'd hold a crystal and then they'd go, it's just a physical crystal. I know there's something more in there. I can intuitively feel there's something more, and I can imagine that's telling me this and that. But this is going to shift when you awaken that feminine power for real. This is really going to shift into the information being downloaded into you. And so all of a sudden your take on this crystal completely shifts as well. You see it as a living being within itself, a quality of wisdom trapped in a vessel that is that anyone that touches or comes into communication with in a higher consciousness can access. And it's different. It makes everything different. So let's see what else comes through. It's a lot of information. I'm a little bit concerned about my battery. It's not us holding out. Good to see everyone in the chat bar. Hi, Diana, and hey, Ali, Athena. Sounds like some of you want to learn, right? Yeah, there's just so much more that's going to take place. And like the channel messages are just going to expand more and more and more as well, because of this communication to an allowance of our feminine rising. It's not just that, it's also the logical or the masculine mind letting go enough to allow. So it's tried to, the logical mind has tried to create everything, and it cannot. It's not its place. It can only grab from the past, project into the future. It can't create everything. So it needs to come back into its rightful place, and that's like, it's just that excess they're showing me is the ego of I need to do everything for the feminine, and they're showing me relationships in the past. I need to be there and do everything for the feminine. And yes, they could maybe gain some material gain, but there was no soul in it. There was no love. There was no feeling of feeling complete. There was no allowance of expansion with each other. So it was very separated world that we have come from. And the only thing that will change that is to learn to appreciate, respect, and accept as we go along both sides of the story. Okay, I just want to, I know they keep coming back to that sort of thing, but it's so, so, so important at the moment, because this is going to change everything, that change of perspective that you have. Okay. So yeah, even when it comes to the messages that are going to be decoded, they're showing me now the Egyptian messages will be decoded. This is all from the power of the feminine mind rising, and everybody starting to take those that understand or can read the papyrus or the scripts or the written word. They can read that written word through channeling, through understanding, and when that is accepted in the news and the value of the news, just as much as what's happening in the physical world, then it's going to change everything. Yeah, it's going to open us up to a whole new storyline and a whole new understanding of what these messages are bringing. They're showing me connection to other beings, off-world beings, and all of that as an absolute. That's already happening, obviously, with me and other channelers and that sort of thing. But then they can come into our reality as a physical form as well and introduce themselves too. So all of that is going to be taking place. This is why it's such a huge shift, because there has to be a flip. And they're showing me like an atom that is seen in quantum physics that's spinning, and then all of a sudden pops out of our reality, because it's popped out of our physical reality of our mindset, holding it as a physical thing, and it's just spun so fast that it's gone into an etheric world. Well, we are doing the same, and through these solar flares that are happening at the moment, they're showing the speeding up of one's atoms into that etheric understanding, so that we can ignite the right hemisphere, the power of the feminine side that works in energy and feeling based. And it also shatters the illusion of the fears that have held us in a limited consciousness, because the power of the feminine rising will say, I don't like that story, so I'm going to shift it. So I'm going to use my imagination to shift the story. Logical mind, do you like that story? No, I don't. Okay, let's shift it. Let's do this together. It's like that. And then in relationships, you're going to find that exactly the same thing happening as well. So we are rewriting our future and we're rewriting the slabs. Are showing me rewriting the slabs that are written, the Sumerian tablets and all of that stuff. It's not just going to come from what the symbols actually are meaning. It's going to come from what the feeling with the symbols as well. So that even though it was the fall of the right hemisphere, it was very close to that fall, they still had feeling within the sound of the word that was spoken, and they knew the power of the sound of the word that they were writing, and then that sound would be able to resonate with or open up the portal within the Brahma cave or the crystal cave at the top of the spine, and with a balanced mind can access this whole other portal into being able to communicate with other beings. So yeah, and those beings would have already been your soul's past that you had a past life with, held within that intuitive mind and the feeling based reality. See how much it's going to expand everything. So you look at the writing that's written on the Sumerian tablets and so forth, through this balanced mind that you found, and acknowledging both feelings and the written word, and the sound vibration that connects with you, and feel, and it's like a reawakening of your past lives. So you then they show me scoop it out and ask the logical mind to take this as something that's tangibly needed for you to see a new perspective, or the logical mind to see a new perspective. Then you're grounding it. And that's what grounding is all about, asking the logical mind to accept something that it hasn't been written in a book, but it has been felt. So yeah, and that literally is a lineage of your past lives. So everybody has had different soul past lives. There's a body past life, as we have come from the birth of our mother and our grandmothers and so forth, but there's also a soul's past life too. And you might have followed the same lineage of the story of your grandparents and elders and aunts and all that sort of stuff, but you might not have. You might have gone, okay, next life I want to experience being an animal, or a next life I'm ready to go back to Pleiades, or next life I'm going to be a shaman, or next life, whatever it is. Next life I'm just going to be an ordinary human being, just feel into that. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be absolutely anything, because there's so many, every single life form here you could have experienced. And it's but it's only in your perspective. So in other words, if there's an animal in this world that hasn't come into your reality, then it does not exist to you. So that means you could not have had a past life with that animal, but you wouldn't know anyway, because you wouldn't know it. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't exist in your reality, right? But they're showing me there is actually people on the other side of the world that know of different animals that you don't know of. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that's coming up for the written word? Yes, so that's all. You're going to you're going to be able, or humanity's consciousness is going to be able to reread all of that. They're talking about Voyager 2, reawakening this, the message that came from Voyager 2, reawakening this. I'm going to have to do a definite message on that one. Yeah, for you guys. I don't want to bring that up now because we just don't have the time. When I get into it, it's going to be huge, a huge message, just like the one that I did on Willow, the quantum computer. If you don't know that one, go have a look on that channel message, which is on my channel, my YouTube channel. Yeah, but we're definitely learning to reread through feelings as well, and it's going to change up everything, every sort of information that we've kind of got from the logical sense. I'm putting little scripted words together to try to make sense of things. You'll reread it through this wisdom of yourself opening up and have a whole other scope on it. And that's your reality, right? You will know it because it will feel absolute to you. It's not something that you can pretend, or something that you can just airy-fairy imagine and grasp hold of. It won't feel comfortable and you will forget it anyway. But something that is felt at the core of oneself as an absolute will not diminish. It is, once it's felt and understood, and then ask for the logical mind to retain it, it is grounded within your psyche of your reality, and it can be expressed to create a new reality in your from your existence and your perception, your perspective. Sorry. Yeah, Diana, it's a message that my team brought me to with Voyager 2 that was encrypted. I'll tell you all about it. It's different, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, guys. I think I'm not going to do a really long one because my battery will run out, but I'm really, really happy to see new faces in the chat bar as well. Even females have a masculine side. Absolutely, Athena. Absolutely. We have both. We have both within us. Masculines have feminine within them, and feminine has. That's the two hemispheres of the brain. The logical mind is the left and the intuitive is the right. But it's kind of like they split it up like that because the logical mind likes to compartmentalize everything. And they have had, scientists have actually proven that when the intuitive mind was down and the logical mind was just up, it was just very logical based. Humanity, that person was very logical based. But when the logical mind was down and the intuitive mind was up, it was very out there, etheric, feminine. They actually did a test on someone that had a severed corpus callosum. The two hemispheres of the brain was not connected. And they asked the masculine, logical left hemisphere, do you believe in God? And it said no. And then they asked the same question to the right hemisphere, and it said absolutely, because that has that connection to source energy and understanding the value of all as one. But we don't understand that because we've been listening to our programmed logical mind shouting at us too much. So we haven't been able to feel into the power of the feminine side. And then you can see it in the relationships that are forming outside of us, where the feminine was seemingly the weaker one and the masculine had to take over everything. And now as we shift and we start to realize the power of the feminine side, then the masculine side's now been put in its rightful place too, of grounding things in this reality. And together we come together to work as one. We become more godlike. We become more compassionate too, towards everything outside of us, because with that connection to the feminine hemisphere, we actually recognize our connection to our outside world as us, as one. And there's no difference between those that come towards you and something that you either needed to learn within yourself or something you wanted to expand within yourself. That you are all in that same vibration. And so if you're in that vibration, then that vibration is something to be looked at within yourself. Anyway, getting into that bit. So I think I will leave it there, guys, until next time. But I'll definitely look into I'm still working. I'm doing a lot of work at the moment. So the work on the presentation that I did in New York at Ground Zero, in a cafe with quite a few people. That presentation has taken me a lot longer than first expected, because I'm putting the meditation together for you guys as well that I channeled through. So I'm a little bit, and I've got a lot. So I've also got a telepathic game that I'm putting together for my school, Amicable, which is on Patreon. The link is down below for that. And I'm also now wanting to do this message for Voyager 2 too. I'm going to just follow my excitement and passion as I go. But everything will be done in the end. But there's just a lot of work. So I'm a one-man band that's doing everything. Okay, until next time though, guys. See ya. Bye.